You've heard of Midwest emo, but have you ever heard of Singaporean emo? Something different, am I right? Hey, what's up? It's your boy Matt Diazbo coming at you with a new music review. Thank you for coming on by. I appreciate it. Today I'm checking out a band called SHLTR with their latest album called Weathered Place. It's a 10-track release that feels less like a typical post-hardcore album, but more of a personal archive slash journal, because it feels like it's chronicling the frontman's personal journey. And his name is, I'm probably really butchering it, but it's Gaddafi's personal struggles with depression, identity, and growing up in emotional isolation. The album captures the pure essence of what makes this particular genre so impactful, and that is unfiltered emotion, intentional imperfection, and just cathartic intensity. Drawing inspiration from bands like Touché, Amoré, Title Fight, Defeater, and Birds in a Row, SHLTR really has built, a sound that, walks the fine line of melancholy fragility while also being melodic and aggressive at the same time. Like, they do a really good job of balancing out these two different sides of their musical talents. It opens up with the song Rope, that is a hesitant acoustic track that, immediately sets the emotional tone for the record. It's raw, uncertain, and painfully honest. The track's unpolished guitar strumming here becomes part of its charm, because it's able to introduce to the album that it's not really afraid to hide from its flaws or its mistakes. While doing all these, it kind of frames them into their own style of truth, and builds these imperfections into their music to pull out these real emotions. So I want to play a clip of Rope for you so you get a sense of just the vulnerability that they are willing to show with their music.
I bleed, and now you're gone. You wrote me in so deeply, so secure. I haven't thought about letting you go. I bleed.
So raw, so vulnerable. Weathered and Heights pick up the pace a bit here by building, blending tight and punchy drums with thick, emotional, resonant bass-like playing and very jagged guitar work. The vocals across these tracks, carry a very genuine sense of conviction, alternating between, desperate and overall defiant style vocal patterns. SHLTR's strength lies in, their ability to take familiar post-hardcore formulas and inject their own personal urgency to them. It's a theme that, you feel throughout this whole album, Weathered Place. 11th of July marks one of the album's most haunting moments because it has a very layered, mournful guitar feeling to it with some very, disturbing yet spoken word samples layered in the song. And as the tension builds with the song, it slowly builds up with some screaming vocals that are just bleeding through the track, accompanied by some faint bird chirping and just an overall sense of uneasiness. And it's a track that just kind of lingers with you after it's long gone and played, and it just has this haunting, distant feeling to it that just makes it stick out pretty well. So here's a clip of 11th of July. The vocals are buried very deeply, but that buriedness, the way that they're mixed in, it creates just a haunting feeling to it. Then on the song Pemizi, I think I'm pronouncing it right, the band leans more into some dynamic songwriting here by having some bold, catchy riffs with some husky melodic vocals and an emotional guest feature from Ryle of Static Years. It's a standout track not only for its energy, but its overall layered vocals and strong pacing. So I want to play a clip of that song Pemizi for you. I really hope I'm saying that name correctly.
Just
pacing on this song is really good. Then you have Decay Part 2 that follows up on heavier Midwest emo aesthetics, though it does stumble a little bit slightly in its rhythm. And with occasionally the drumming being a little bit out of sync, the song does feel a little bit, just off a little bit. But overall, it's still a very passionate and weighted song that comes through clearly. Tracks like Stronger and Shelter demonstrate the band's ability to shift between tempos without losing emotional consistency. Stronger incorporates some samples of people crying and just overall some spoken word that adds to the heaviness to the track without relying on sheer volume. It's heavy in a different sense. Funny enough, the song Shelter by the band Shelter is when the band is the most locked in, tight drums, powerful riffs, and vocals that sound like they have the most urgency on this whole record, building up to a deeply satisfying climax. Then you have Hospital Bed here that, stands out because of its anxious atmosphere that they build here. It's a slow burning track that has layered emo guitar lines over throbbing bass, accumulating into a very brief but intense emotional swell at the end. Then with the closing song here, Season X, they push everything to the limits, whether it's guitars, vocals, distortions, it's pushed to the limits. And I think it is intentional that, the ending is very overwhelming here, that it helps mirrors the emotional exhaustion embedded in this record. What makes Weathered Place from the band Shelter really resonate isn't from its perfection, but more of its willingness to be vulnerable and sound very frayed. The emotional depth here, the discomfort, the honest production choices, they all speak to that the band is more concerned about, their truth and what they want to express than music trends or what is a hot topic way of selling records or to be more recognizable. Shelter is contributing something very vital to the Southeast Asia alternative scene, and that is, being very vulnerable with their choices in terms of how they want to produce and make their music. It is very authentically them. This is them. There's no one else giving them too much influence. It's raw, it's uncut. It's pretty impressive in that sense. But overall, production wise and, overall some rhythm and overall pacing issues with some of the album would, hold back this album from being greater. I think, number one, I think production issues a lot of the times, as much of a aesthetic choices as some of the music is here at times, it is hard to hear sometimes, and it is a little bit muffled, and some of the pacing and overall timing of some of the band members is a little off, and so it can be a bit jarring to listen to at times. But I still give it up to them for, opening their wounds and showing them to us. So I would say this latest album from Shelter, Weathered Place, I would give it a decent and okay 6 out of 10. Links down below. Tell me what you think about this band. Tell me about some other bands from the Southeast Asia scene, some from Singapore, or anywhere that I should check out and, just explore. So, yeah. Until next time, guys, I will see you in the pit.
Good things about you.